Welcome back to the Questions Concerning podcast. I'm your host, Gabriella Jones, and today we have the guest. You can introduce yourself?
I go by EZY. True to people, true to guys, true to we, true to EZY Truth.
So today's topic, we want to get into artistry, what it means to be someone pursuing art, someone pursuing a career in the music industry and all that comes with that. But as well as not going the conventional route, it's easier to go the conventional route. It's been set up for us. So to choose to go a different direction, go against the grain, that's harder. So I want to start, honestly, with your origin story. Where you come from, how you got into music, and your inspiration.
I'm from Northeast DC. I was born and raised in DC. My origin, my background is in West African music, West African percussion specifically. I was actually homeschooled. A lot of people don't know that. My father was like a music head. He just loved all types of music, specifically R&B. A lot of because my father was from Philly, crazy enough. My mom is from Maryland, and then I was born in DC, crazy. My father was crazy within the music. R&B was his love. I grew up on a lot of Anthony Hamilton, Music Soul Child, of course Erykah Badu, Sade, a lot of these people. So I feel like that also plays a part within influencing my sound. But how I got into music, again, I was drumming since I was 12 years old. And then my Boys and Girls Club had a program called STEAM the Block. STEAM the Block was the science, technology, engineering, arts, and math program, where basically they taught kids around the way just about music and then engineering, and how they kind of coexisted. And I found a love for it. Interesting enough, our studio was in a locker room, and I think I was about 15, and then crazy enough, we had one day we had a session, and I wasn't really into writing music. I used to write a little bit of poetry back in the day, but we had this one day where we had a session. Everybody was in there rapping, going crazy. And I just, for some reason, I was trying to write something that just wasn't working. So I left, I came back. They left a part of the verse for me.
Yeah.
Came back, I did it. Everybody's whoa, what's going on? I ain't never.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, and I ain't never really take it serious. I was just oh, that's what's up, It was yeah, you could rap, what you, and so after that, I kind of left it alone. That program ended up getting shut down. A couple years later, an organization called Notes for Notes came through the Boys and Girls Club. Boys and Girls Club is a big part of my development because, again, I was telling you I was homeschooled, but then I lived on Benning Road in East Capitol. So, it just get real on that side. So, a couple years later, our Boys and Girls Club partnered with the organization called Notes for Notes. They built a real studio upstairs. They had a storage unit back there, and they just recreated it, made a live room, made a recording booth. And shout out to my man Dom. He basically just heightened everything. And actually before that, I made another song when I was 17, right before the studio was made. And it actually sounded pretty decent.
Yeah.
And people was you should, maybe take it serious. I didn't do it. But when the studio was built, I got an opportunity to just be in the studio every day.
Wow.
And it was wild because I was falling in love with it.
Yeah.
I started to learn how to engineer, and engineering for me was just helping people, and that's what I've always been about. And helping people, especially throughout their creativity, is always a blessing. But that's how that happened.
Well, so let me ask you, how long have you been doing music now? What would you say from the moment you took it seriously? How long has it been?
I would say 4 years.
4 years, wow.
Yeah, this is very young.
Yeah.
Very fresh. And a lot of people don't know that, but I've done a lot within the short amount of time that I've been doing things.
Yeah.
So.
And what would you say was the indicator that you had that turnover, that you were like, oh no, I'm really doing this now?
2020, when I was probably like 2021, I dropped out of school, and the pandemic really just gave me a lot of time to look at myself, and address what I wanted to do. And that was a very interesting time for everyone. But I just told myself it's either you're gonna do it or you're gonna not, or you're not gonna do it. And then what's that? That was 2022. I got accepted into Black Thought's masterclass at the Kennedy Center.
Oh wow.
And that kind of, after that happened, like I kind of was just like, all right, I'm gonna really like do it.
Yeah.
Cause I was just in that in between. I felt like school was taken away from what I was trying to do. Then it just wasn't working out. Sometimes the words wouldn't, it was just a whole bunch of life stuff happening. It was a lot. But that 2021, looking myself in the mirror, figuring out what was going on, addressing what I actually loved, and then being accepted into that program, it was just like, this is what I need to do. So that was like 2021, 2022. So I would say I've been rapping for like 4 years, but like it's been like 2 solid years where it's been a lot more serious.
Wow, you've been moving for like I was thinking you're gonna say 8 or something like that.
This is very fresh. And it's funny because I've been realizing that like I know a lot more people than I thought.
Yeah.
And I've connected with a lot more people than I've realized. And it's really a beautiful thing. So I'm just thankful for my journey so far. And I know I have a long way to go.
Yeah.
But
let's go.
Yeah, I've seen a lot within these 2 years.
Let's go to that school piece. What were you studying in school?
Music.
So
crazy story. When I grew up, I wanted to be a civil engineer.
Yeah.
I was never really that good at math though. That's the crazy part. So I don't know how I was gonna be a civil engineer and I wasn't that great at math. I just enjoyed building things. I enjoyed like infrastructures. Like I just enjoy shit like that. And music again was just always there. I actually wanted to go away for school, but things didn't work out like that. I wanted to stay home, help with the family, all of that. So I ended up going to PG. PG had a new performing arts building, and the year that I went, it was like it was being open, but we didn't even really get to use it the first semester. But I ended up going to school for music, going to PG. I wanted to transfer to American because they had an audio engineering program. That's what I really wanted to do. I want to do audio engineering, but you had to do music. So I was literally in there taking percussion, playing congas, reading music. When I was brought up, I played piano for like 7, 8 years.
Oh wow.
But so I came back. I was going to PG. I was trying to learn audio engineering. We were supposed to have new computers and all of that. We ended up being in the old building, whole bunch of wild stuff. But that's what I went to. I was going to school for music. So
and that's kind of interesting that you went to school for music and it kind of impeded on your music.
Yeah, it was crazy, and that's why I was like something. And then another thing was I still live in an apartment. So even now I made a song where I was basically talking about just trials, tribulations, everything like that. But specifically, like my neighbors would bang on the wall when I played beats too loud. So, and that was like daytime. So I didn't even have police show up to my door multiple times for noise complaints. I didn't even think that we did that.
Yeah.
But that's cool. But I couldn't practice.
Yeah.
I was a music major. I performed percussion, so I couldn't drum. I couldn't practice. It just wasn't really working for me. I felt like it was taken away from the times that I wanted to write and create. I was still practicing music, and I do feel like I got better at my musicality. I was learning music theory and all of that. So as a musician, I was growing, but as an artist and a creative in the field that I wanted, I felt like I was just losing time from it.
Yeah. Was Was it a difficult decision to take a step away from school, and was there a negative reaction from like family and
For sure.
friends?
For
Like,
sure.
how'd you navigate that?
When I dropped out. I took a semester. That's that's how we start.
That's how you start.
Taking a semester off, and when I did it, I took the semester off that COVID year.
Yeah.
I took the semester off that following
So
semester.
everybody was like, "Oh, this is reasonable."
Yeah, this is it's just a lot on my
Pandemic,
mind. I'm jazzing it up real
online
nice.
school.
Yeah, so, but again, all of those reasons that I was saying, I couldn't practice. I couldn't really do what I wanted to do. And then I found out that I was in like a scholarship program where I would be able to transfer for free to another school.
Yeah.
But I couldn't do that because the school that I wanted to transfer to, they only allowed you to transfer into their business program. So when I wanted to transfer to American, I couldn't. So it was just like, I can't go to American. And then at that time, I knew a lot of people of American. I had already visited their school, went to their studios, talked with the dean. Like, did everything. Then found out that I couldn't do that. So it was just like, all right, I can't go there. I can't practice. I can't do any of the performances for real, because again, it was all on Zoom. I can't practice, which means I can't perform.
Yeah.
So it was just like, I need to do something for myself.
Yeah.
And at that time, I was really believing in what I was doing. So it was just like, let's push through it. Let's get to it. I mean, the people around me, they, oh, you're not in school. I mean, I ain't really, for me, I don't really care what people think or say all of that. But I kept hearing it, some of the family members, some of the aunts, the uncles, you're not in school, what you doing? I can't, especially my mom, though. I've taught you all your life, and now you're not in school. Do you have a plan? What's going on?
Yeah.
And sometimes it felt like people didn't believe in what I was doing.
Yeah.
But again, I felt good within my decision. I felt free within my decision. And I'm seeing the fruits of my labor and just believing in within self, you know.
No, I feel
But
that.
it was a lot of
Always is.
Yeah, for
Always
sure.
is.
But I stuck it out. I stayed true.
Yeah.
And I just kept it pushing.
That's awesome. Let's get into the music a little bit. How what's your greatest inspiration for your music? Where do you feel like your lyricism comes from? Like, what's the spark that happens that leads to another song or leads to a new song?
Life, for real, just life. Like, I wake up, sometimes, words just be on my mind. I've been learning to write in the morning from a good friend. But trying to think, I don't know. Even when I was saying it early, like a lot of the times when I like create music, I don't really feel like it's crazy, but I don't feel like all the time it comes from me. Sometimes intentionally I write.
Yeah.
And it sounds good, but sometimes depending on, because me personally, I like to let the beat speak to me. And then I'm just writing the message that came. But yeah, like sometimes I really don't feel like the words come from me. But in general, I usually just play a beat. I might start like freestyling or whatever, seeing what comes naturally. Or if I have a vision in mind of what I want to do or what I want to create, then I'll write like some key points down and then start going off of that. But I don't know, it's a lot of different ways that I approach it. I just do whatever feels natural. I normally, because I used to kind of like force it.
Yeah.
But now it's more whatever the first thing that comes to mind is obviously what is needed to be on the page.
Yeah.
So I go off of my initial thought and I keep it pushing.
Yeah.
But like inspiration, go ahead.
I was
Inspirations.
Who's your biggest inspirations?
My family, for real. Like, my mom has been doing what she loves to do now. It took her a while to get to that point. And I feel like I influenced it a little bit.
What does she do?
She actually goes, she's like a tour guide in a sense. But she's really like a person that creates experiences for people in Ghana.
Oh, cool.
So she travels back and forth. And she, like I said, she just creates those experiences. She's been like kind of tapped in for a couple of years now. And she's been traveling to different places in Ghana to basically be able to provide a tour for either graduates or
wow.
people who just want to go on a vacation to Africa.
Yeah.
So that's what she's been doing. She's also a teacher too. But my family is an inspiration. I gotta say Kendrick is an inspiration. Cole is an inspiration. But just wanting to see better for my community for is like a big inspiration, because for me, like, music is going to be the platform that I use to create the change that I want. So that means that I have to really get good at the music to be able to create the change that I want to see. I want it to be more of like a perspective shift. I want to see people navigate through things differently. I want to see people be themselves and just know that it's okay to be yourself.
Yeah.
I want to see people tap into their absolute truth. The fame and all of that I don't really care for, but the impact is what really, really motivates me.
Yeah. What's one of your favorite projects? Like, what project are you most proud of? Like, what's the one that you feel like has created that impact?
Right now I would say my most recent, I feel like it's a lot of different vibes on there. And I'll say one specific one. Two I lied. So the project's called Imperfect. I actually released that in November 2022. But a song off of that project was called Questionables. And Questionables, again, tapping back into the pandemic and just looking myself in the mirror and asking all of these questions and figuring things out. I kind of wrote a song, and again, different music, different beats, different instrumentals, all trigger certain things. So I heard this track produced by The Alchemist, and it just triggered a different type of emotion. And I wrote the song probably in like 30 minutes to an hour.
Whoa.
And it was just a beautiful feeling. We ended up shooting a video for it. It's on YouTube and all of that. Go get that. But it just encompasses all of the questions that are in my mind, and hoping that, literally, like, I'm living this life right. And sometimes I feel like there is no right way to live, but sometimes these questions that I'm asking, maybe it could impact the next person. Maybe these questions are something that they have in their mind and they're trying to figure out for themselves. So I feel like it was a layered song, but you had to listen to it to like really break it down. So that was the first one, Questionables. The second one, Revolutionary Suicide. That was crazy. That was named after the book. But Revolutionary Suicide was just a long-winded project. It's only one song. It's really a visual project. But it's one song, and I actually rapped over the Roots instrumental. This song I actually performed at the Kennedy Center.
Oh, wow.
When I was a part of the Black Thought Masterclass.
Yeah.
But it's a Roots instrumental. Kendrick actually rapped over it. But I knew, just to put this out there, I knew about the instrumental before Kendrick rapped over it. You know what I mean? I knew where it came from. And that album is actually one of my favorite albums from the Roots, How I Got Over. But it was about so many different things. Again, so how that came about, I wanted to save all of the emotions that I built up from the riots that happened in DC.
Yeah.
The nonsense that was happening after the riots.
Yeah.
I ended up watching When They See Us.
Yep. Whew.
I
Oof.
watched Goodbye Uncle Sam.
Mm.
It was Uncle Tom. Goodbye Uncle Sam. It was one of those movies where it was like blackface and they were dancing.
Damn.
And they basically danced their way off in the street. They ended up hiring a black man. The black man was basically violating black people. It's a whole that's a whole nother conversation. But I watched that, and I was just building up all of these emotions because I wanted to spill out everything that I felt on one song.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'm bad at explaining things, but that song meant a lot to me because I wanted to speak on injustices. I wanted to speak on what's actually happening in America. Like I wanted to shed light upon all of the stuff that they hid, that they swept under the rug.
Yeah.
And I feel like I did that. And it was just a beautiful project. It took a long time, a lot of sleepless nights.
Yeah.
But the project is self-explanatory. It can do a lot more. Showing what I'm trying to explain, I'm doing bad at it. But if people watched it, they would see exactly what I meant.
Mm-hmm.
But those two are my favorite, Questionables and Revolutionary Suicide, for sure.
That's dope. How do you keep going when, the passion fades, in the moments when you don't want to do the work? What keeps you getting up? What keeps you, I guess, awake at this point? Sleepless nights.
Well, what keeps me awake is just knowing that there's a vision that I actually see now.
Yeah.
And regardless if there's times when I have to take time for myself, because like I don't force anything anymore. I used to just try to beat my head in until everything was working out, and I feel like that made it worse at times. But never force anything. Just relax, breathe, take the time you need. I've noticed when I either would get stuck on something, I would go away and do something different. I would even watch something on TV, or I would do something mindless for me to come back and get to it. But repeat the last part of the question.
When you don't want to do the work anymore.
When I don't want to do the work.
What keeps you going? Like what? Like if you have a performance set up, right, and you're like, man, like I'm really not feeling it. Like I really don't want to do this right now. What makes you show up on that stage? You're smiling like you're like I never want to perform.
No, but like I feel like the reason I was smiling is because I would never not want to perform. Like I grew again within my West African percussion.
Yeah.
Like I grew up performing. Like it's like a natural thing, and I feel like that's why it translates on the stage now. Because I had the upbringing of performing, so I enjoy performing. Like I don't feel like I would ever not want to perform.
Or like the parts where you like don't want to, I guess the business side of things you were talking about earlier, like talking to folks, making those connections.
That's a difficult part of it. But I would say the times that I don't want to do it, I feel like are the times that I should actually lock in more. Because, people be saying they be fighting demons and all that. But like, I feel like those are technically demons that are trying to stop you from your path. And even when those days come, it's going to be some rainy days. Sometimes take time, breathe a little bit, relax, go for a walk, enjoy life, because you are breathing. And then come back to another day if you truly love it. Because if you love it, true love is unconditional. And, it's going to be times when you're not going to enjoy it. But again, take the necessary time that you need and get back to it, because music, it's going to stick with you forever, regardless. Like if you're a musician and you really love music, you can't run away from it. Like you can't, because I've tried multiple times. I've tried to escape it, but it doesn't work because it's within me. I breathe it. I live it. It's a lifestyle. So I don't really say you get tired of it, but it's going to be days when you're actually tired. And when those days come, take your time.
Yeah. Outside of your music, what does it look like that? Like you doing you?
I like the bike. I've been getting more into exercise and trying to get my body right. And when the inside of the body is clean, I feel like I created some of my best music when I was like in the best shape. And I don't know, biking just cleared my mind. It allows me to tap into the thoughts that I'm having or I'm trying to clear up or get clarity on. But yeah, just making sure that the body is right so the mind can be right.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's pretty crazy.
No, I feel that. I feel the same. Like when you're taking care of all of your parts, it kind of creates a synergy for what you need to do in terms
Drink
of
water too.
Drink
Stay
water.
hydrated.
Facts. What are your biggest fears in terms of your pursuit of this artistry?
As of now, I don't really have fears. I used to compare myself to a lot of people, which kind of dimmed my own flame at one point. But I don't know. I'm so focused on just staying true to what I believe and not really letting the outside distractions, corrupt or just mess up what I'm trying to do. And I just keep moving forward. But I would say I used to fear giving up because, like I said, we can try to run from music and try to run from what you truly need.
Yeah.
But even when I was doing that, I still had to retrace my steps to make it back to what I actually want.
Yeah.
And need. So
there's been a moment where you tried to give up.
Yeah, for sure.
Why? What made you consider that?
Sometimes it just don't be working.
Yeah.
A lot of people told me that I was talented at what I did, but I didn't feel like that. A lot of people was just like, yo, bro, this is crazy, but nothing I was creating felt crazy to me. And in the same sense, like, I feel like that is good, sort of, kind of.
Keeping you humble.
Yeah, always. But at the same time, nobody's going to believe in you if you don't believe in you.
Yeah.
So I was just dealing with that self-doubt and just not sure if I wanted to do it. Life was just life, and I was smoking a lot, like just doing a lot of shit I didn't need to be doing. So I for sure tried to give up a couple times, but then I would get like little confirmations that would kind of realign me. Then I would get knocked off, and then something else would realign me. And then it just got to the point where I asked myself, like, why do you think you keep getting realigned? Why do you think that's the case? So I was just thinking, like, this is actually something that I need to tap into and really give myself to, because why not?
Yeah, like listening to that calling. It's tough. Like,
yeah, because I ain't gonna lie, I ain't used to listen to the messages that I was receiving. Like, I was just doing a whole bunch of dumb shit, like crashing cars, and that's a lot of stuff. But yeah, like, I needed to slow. One of my messages was to slow down.
Yeah.
I was just in a rush everywhere. And I didn't need to be. I felt like I was always behind. I felt like I was always losing track. I felt like I was never sometimes even good enough, but at the same time, those signs were just to take your time. Like, all of the things that you want is on the way.
Yeah.
And little did I see that, things started to become a lot more clear. So.
Yeah, I feel that. It's hard. There's a lot of things that will try to stop you. Do you think you can make it? I know that we were talking a little bit earlier about the DC music infrastructure and the lack thereof, and kind of the outside powers that be and dictating, how we make it. Do you feel like you can make it as a DC artist?
Hell yeah.
Yeah?
So I performed, I believe his name is B Young Prince. I don't, excuse me if I'm mispronouncing your name. But I actually did a show May 10th. You were at that show.
I was. Great show.
Thank you. B Young Prince is, and I don't, again, excuse me if I'm saying your name wrong. He's a creative artist. He does a lot of crazy shit in the city, and he's tapped in with everybody. And I'll never forget this. When I got off stage, he was just like, I'm honored to meet you.
Wow.
And what I do, I'm a creative. And I do a whole bunch of stuff within. And I already knew who he was. I had ended up meeting him at the Whammy's DC award ceremony. He was just like, I would love to put you on shows, just get connected. He said, this is what we need. We need more people who are actually lyricists, that's coming from the city. There's money and there's room for that. Continue doing what you're doing. Keep working, keep growing, keep elevating. Like, that was the vibes I was getting. And I was just like, I'm going to just continue to do that.
Yeah.
So do I think I can make it? Yeah, for sure. And I also feel like all my guys is making it too. All the people who I surround myself with, all the people who's with me, who's rocking with me, shout out the whole on low. We're all going to make it. And we're just going to change a lot of outcomes for the people in the city. Like, I know a lot of people in the city. Like, it's crazy. And I always, when I was first coming up, I felt like nobody gonna fuck with me. Nobody gonna like the shit I do. But I got people that I would have never thought would see my music, would like my music, hitting my phone. Like, bro, you motivate me.
Wow.
Like,
Wow.
you just doing what you doing is helping me get through life.
Yeah.
You're helping me become a better father. Like,
wow.
So when I'm and these niggas from the city, like, so when I'm hearing all of this, it's like it's no way I can stop.
Yeah.
So when I tell you how I'm like running away and my goal is impacting all of these things, all of this shit is just pushing me back to getting on track. Cause you gotta get out there and do this shit not only for yourself, but for all the people that's on your back, that's rooting for you and that actually care for what you're doing. So yeah, I think I'm gonna make it.
Yeah.
I don't really.
That's
within
deep.
due time, and I feel like every artist and creative should have that chip on their shoulder, as I feel like I'm one of the best, and I do. And I say that in the most humblest way, and I don't like to come across as all that, but I don't feel like it's a lot of people that can rap better than me, and that's not even like in the city, that's just in general. So yeah, I'm still, I'm still doing my thing. I'm still humble.
Yeah.
And I still have a lot more to prove, not to the world, but to myself. Because it was a time when I didn't see a lot of shit and I couldn't figure out, I didn't have any type of clarity, but now I'm starting to see everything clearly.
Yeah. I think that like kind of also comes out in the moves you're making, and just the stuff you share online. It's like that vision and that clarity can be seen.
Yeah.
And it's like, it sounds like you're making it already, like I think for me personally, my artistry and my creativity, when people take the time to reach out and say, hey, what you're doing is impacting my life, or what you said is impacting how I move and what I'm doing in my life. And it's like, that's the real encouragement. It's like, it's not the additional Instagram follows, it's not the promo, it's not all that. It's when someone like who from your hood says, yo, like,
yeah, and that's
I
like,
feel that.
That's what I would like, and this is real life. Street niggas hit my phone.
Yeah.
Like street niggas hit my phone. Like, you like keep doing what you doing.
That's crazy.
And that shit felt good to me because it's being received by not only the people that I wanted it to be received by, but also people who I never would have thought received it. So, and it's also pushing me even harder to continue being myself completely.
Yeah.
Because a lot of niggas in the city specifically, like, I don't know, everybody try to be like the next man, and I was never with that. Like, I've never been no dick rider. I've never been like nothing like that. And I feel like it's a lot of that. I feel like it's top dogs in the city, and then it's people who want to be like that. And unfortunately, it's a lot of people who are under that. Me, I've always been myself, and I feel like that's why people rock with me more, because I've always been myself. And I've never tried to be something that I'm not. I never tried to create a facade or an image of someone that I'm not, and I will never do that.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's why. And the reason why I was bringing up all the people in the city is because, like, when you get to a certain point, a lot of people don't like. We had this conversation at the DMV conference, the DMV conjunct that you said you was about to go to.
Yeah.
They had a conversation about is Wale from the area? Like,
No way.
And, you know, some people shout out, he from Nigeria.
No way.
He from Montgomery County. Woo, woo. And all the stuff that Wale did for the city, people still don't claim him.
Wow.
So her name is Nonchalant. Shout out to her. She was saying this is the reason why, again, DC never breaks through that barrier. Because we have people like Pharrell.
Yeah.
Pharrell's from VA. We have people like Corday.
Mm-hmm.
We have people like Ari Lennox.
Yep.
Brent Faiyaz.
Mm-hmm.
These are top tier artists, but a lot of people don't claim them. The city is so backwards, so twisted, like that. They just, I don't know, they want to be themselves so bad. They don't want nobody to be like. It's just, it's actually hindering us. For real. But the reason I say all of that to say, can't nobody not tell me I'm from the city.
This is what I'm saying. Like, wait,
can't
what
nobody,
you gotta be?
Can't nobody not tell me, and I'm tapped in to so many different people
Exactly.
that when I get to this level, oh, nah, shorty was
from North VA.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying, Northern Virginia or Arlington, or, you know, I lived out White Oak and all that, or Waldorf. You know, they love saying Waldorf.
They
you
do.
know.
They do always.
You know, take a flight to Waldorf. But that's another story. But yeah, like I'm tapped into different people. For me, what I think it is, like, a nigga from the city, they want somebody to represent the city in their light.
Yeah.
And if their light is I grew up outside all day on the block, I wear a Nike ski mask, a black shirt, black jeans with the junk hanging out here with Nike boots, with the tights underneath it, the compression pants. You know, if and I'm thugging on the block, like if that's not who is representing the whole city, they don't really want that. And it's sad, and I'm not gonna say it's everybody, because it's other people who understand that we gotta shift the narrative. We gotta be a little different for people to actually come to see. Because if you notice, like, it's a lot of people that's like slowly, sneakily making their way to the city.
Yeah.
Like, Something in the Water was just in the city. That brought a lot of people to DC.
Yep.
Like, imagine having more festivals in the city. Imagine having just more events that are larger. Like, we have our Broccoli City Fest. We have stuff like that. But imagine getting these larger people to come out. Like, people want to be in DC. Like, they do. And that's another reason why I don't want to leave. Yeah, I want to, of course, like, secure my connections within the city. But people are making their way here. And it's a reason for that. I don't know if people is paying attention to that.
Yeah.
And a lot more eyes are on the DMV in general. Excuse me, but we just got to be aware of that, and actually be receptive to the people who's trying to change the communities that we living in, because the conditions that we living in is not okay.
It's not. And
it hasn't been okay. But, you know, people so just stuck on being broke. Like, I don't know. Like, it's weird, because I've always wanted to change my outcomes. I never wanted to live in the same conditions. I'm not proud to say that we come from EBT. I'm not proud to say that we live in Section 8. People shouldn't be proud for that.
Yeah.
People should understand that, where, you know what I'm saying, wear it on you, like, this what I come from, but at the same time, I'm trying to change that.
Yeah.
So I feel like, I don't know, we a little. I even made a little thing that blew up a little minute ago. It was titled District of the Confused, and I went outside my little station on Benning Road, and during that time, this was before, like, Instagram had Reels and all of that.
Yeah.
So it got like 2,000 likes or something like that.
Oh,
you know,
wow,
I was geeked for that. You know, I was happy. But it was like I just told people to tag every, like, DMV creative.
Yeah.
And people was rocking with it. People was fucking with it.
Yeah.
A lot of people tapped in. And that was like a little proud moment for me. But I feel like we receptive to it. We just got to keep pushing that agenda.
Yeah.
Like, the people who actually want to see the change, we got to keep pushing that.
Yeah. I feel that. Do you have, like, other lyricists around you that you feel like are pushing that agenda?
Yeah. So I would say, and I'm gonna say yes, but at the same time, these other brothers that I'm with, they're just expressing their truth. They're trying to get their feelings and emotions out.
Okay, so
they're doing what's right for them.
Got you. A little different.
And I'm doing what's right for me too. But that's like my ultimate goal.
Got
like
you.
I said in the beginning, like music is my platform that I'm gonna use to be able to create the change that I want.
Yeah.
They're in a sense doing the same thing, and I know that they're gonna get on that path. But shout out to Nico X, shout out to my man Oz, my man Josh, shout out to him too. He shot all of my videos. He's a crazy filmmaker. He's young, and we're gonna do amazing work, but he's gonna do amazing work. He's on the visual side of things, so he's for sure bringing change through, the vision.
Yeah.
Shout out my man Nigel. Both of them actually. Nigel, I ain't gonna say last names, but both of them Nigel. We're gonna leave it at that. Who are some other creatives in the area who are pushing the agenda, or just who I enjoy?
I would say like kind of are on that
same type time.
Yeah. Cause like right now, I think from my perspective, which is like not in deep right with it, it seems like it's you. Or you're at the forefront of it, like looking around the city, I'm like, I'm not sure it's about to be you, who's coming out of it.
So what I will say is, cause I don't want people, cause I know that I'm probably going to get the conscious rapper title and all of that.
Yeah, exactly. Like
I'm just about expressing truth.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So if my truth is about getting money at some point, then I'm gonna be talking about that. If my truth is about doing wild shit, then it's about doing wild shit. But at the same time, I'm just expressing truth. But my focus, of course, is to change people's lives, to change my community. So at the same time, I feel like people have to understand that we're all human at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So although that's what I want, that might not be my reality in that moment. But at the same time, just know that all of this is for the one greater goal.
Yeah.
But I do believe I'm gonna probably be at the forefront. I don't feel like it's a lot of people who step into that lane and just go full fledged with it. But it's a lot of people. It's a lot of amazing artists that are coming out of DC. It's a lot of amazing artists that are coming out of Maryland. A lot of amazing artists that are coming out of VA. And who I feel like are just creating for self, which is a beautiful thing.
Which is a beautiful thing.
And within that, they might impact people.
I agree. And it's like it's you it's different moments in life too.
Yeah.
Where it's like sometimes this is
for sure. And I've kind of experienced a lot at a young age. Cause I'm 23. So I feel old, but I also feel young at the same time. And another beautiful thing is I'm in like that middle age, because I'm the people I name are younger than me. But the people who I'm like hanging around with are older than me.
Got you.
So I'm in that middle, being
J. Cole, middle child.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, I was thinking about it a lot too. But just knowing that the young guys, they're pushing me to be greater, but I'm also, with people who are older than me, kind of navigating through some of the things that I am, but are able to show me different.